Shedeur, which quarterbacks are you talking about? Because there is some bad quarterback play out there, but the dude who can't beat Dylan Gabriel out for a job and can't beat Joe Flacco out for a job certainly can't lay claim to being better than any other quarterback in the league.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
That's a lot for a closer. 10. You're not a closer anymore if you blow 10 games. I mean, my goodness. That's
he's mentally broken too. Like, it's to the point where, like, Dodger fans aren't even mad at him; they're more mad at the Dodgers for putting him out there.
Putting him in,
right? It's more so.
Right.
Yeah, it's like, guys, like, he's done.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
Major League Baseball has decided it is time to put balls and strikes not just in the hands of the umpires, but also the robot umpires, as they say. The ABS system is now officially in place starting next season. Now, keep in mind, they're not just throwing this out there. They have used this at the Arizona Fall League, and they've also used it at different levels of the minor leagues as well.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Everything changed at that point. They went and got Jonquil Jones, and they really had that triple threat monster team. That second year they lost in the WNBA Finals, 3-1 against the Las Vegas Aces. Year 3, they finally get over the top hump. And you can question whether they should have won the title with that foul call late in Game 5 that sent Breanna Stewart to the foul line.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
And welcome in. It is in-game live game day here on a wonderful Wednesday. Scott Wetzel and Gabriel Morency for the next 2 glorious hours, right up until 10 p.m. Eastern time, watching, analyzing, and more importantly, betting on the world of sports. A little smorgasbord tonight. Not a lot of what we have, but we do have a lot as far as sports are concerned. We got playoff baseball going on. We got NHL. We got college football. We got WNBA finals. So we got a lot of things we can put a couple of shekels on over the next couple hours. We got the coach joining us in a little bit. He'll do a little WNBA with us. We got the Rob Donaldson, UnderdogFantasy.com. We'll do a little baseball with him. And then Mark Zino, who knows where we're going to go with Mark, depending on what bad beat he's got tonight for us. So before we get to all that, it's game time. What's betting you off tonight, Gabe?
Well, it's the best time of the year to be a sports fan. It's a sports bettor's delight right now. It's the worlds are colliding. And they'll collide a little bit more with the NBA regular season, albeit there is NBA preseason basketball going on, and we've been betting that as well. Today is the start of the real run right now. 49 consecutive days of football starting today. People always miss the midweek games. The midweek games are back tonight. We've got midweek football on Wednesday. Starting next week, there'll be football games on Tuesday as well at the college level. Now, listen, they're not very glamorous games. It's one of those deals where everybody yearns for college football midweek, and then they're not so excited when they find out it's Missouri State versus Middle Tennessee State and Liberty and UTEP. But for the record, we are taking the UTEP Miners plus the 2 points in this game, and we're going to go under the number. I'd bet a lot of overs, but I'm going to go under. I expect both these games to be kind of dull tonight in the college football world.
All right, let's start with our opening pickoff then. I'll go with the baseball for my first play, Gabe. I'm going to go over 3.5 runs, Philadelphia Phillies. I have the Dodgers in the series. I have the Dodgers to win it all, so I don't like betting against a team that, I have another bet on. But I do think Philadelphia is not going to roll over. Well, that means they score 3 runs, 4 runs, 5 runs. They lose. Let's hope they lose, 4-3. Well, no, not 4-3, but 5-4, 6-4, something like that. I think they get their 4 runs. So over 3.5 runs, Philadelphia Phillies tonight.
I'm going to take the Los Angeles Dodgers this evening. Now, listen, this price continues to climb. Nola's been lit up. He's been torched this year. And then you got Yamamoto on the hill. Yamamoto, arguably the Dodgers' best pitcher, actually. Like, this guy's got ice in his veins. He's been dominant. He was dominant in his postseason start against the Cincinnati Reds. He did give up 2 runs. He had 9 strikeouts. It should be noted, I played a little alt line, so I got a head start on the Dodgers in parlay, Scott, to try to soften the blow from the big number. But give me the LA Dodgers to win this baseball game tonight.
All right. I'm going to stick with Philadelphia in this same vein. Aaron Nola, I know this has got sucker written all over it. I know it, right? But I'm going to buy in. They suckered me in. Aaron Nola gave over 8.5 outs. They're facing elimination. I get that. He's going to have a short hook. I get that, but he can't get through 3 innings in a game in which they really want him to do well. You know, this is not a bullpen by committee type of game or, a rookie pitcher. You're not sure. This is veteran Aaron Nola. You know, you're down 2-0. I get it with the quick hook, but I'm betting he gets at least 1 through that Dodger order. Give me over 8.5 outs, Aaron Nola.
All right, I'll get back to the baseball game, but I can't disagree. You figure he can go 3 innings. But we got the WNBA finals ready to tip off here. Let's go over the number. We've been betting a lot of unders, and everybody knows I don't like betting unders, but we have been betting unders in the WNBA playoffs. The odds makers have been getting the numbers bang on, and the games have been playing to the under. But these 2 teams do not. Phoenix want to push the pace. Phoenix are a good defensive team, but they're having a hard time. They can't stop Vegas' offensive game. So this game, both these the games have already gone over this number before. I think this is actually a little light. I'm surprised it was. I was expecting it to be a little bit higher. Let's go over to 163.5 in this basketball game. WNBA Finals.
All right, I'm going to be on the other side. I'm going to go under. This is a system play for me, under 163.5. How come? Because I absolutely love going opposite of what happened in the first 2 games if a team is down 2-0. Point being, Phoenix is down 2-0. Both the first games were high-scoring games. You're right, Gabe. The numbers were in the 160s plus, like 167, 168. They were much higher. They lowered it. Why? I just think Phoenix is saying to themselves, listen, guys, we tried to run a gun with them, and we lost. We're down 0-2. Whatever we tried in games 1 and 2 has not been successful, so we got to do a little something differently in game 3. Maybe that means slow the ball up, walk the ball up the court, but we can't get into a track meet. So little hunch play on a system that I've been following over the many years I've been doing this, under 163.5 Vegas and Phoenix.
They scored 173 points in game 1, and they scored 169 in game 2. So there'll have to be quite a little bit of a drop-off here. Listen, the odds makers have been very, very sharp with these totals in the WNBA. But in the finals, there's a lot of fouls, and I expect an up-tempo game once again tonight. And that's why, and listen, whether the game goes over or under the number doesn't mean Asia Wilson can't go over her number. 24.5 is reasonable. Right? Like, it really matters. When you get into like 26.5, 27.5, you really need a clean ride for her to go over the number. But she's a killer. She's raised the level of her game here. Phoenix can't stop her. 24.5 points is more than reasonable. I stayed away from the point spread. It sounds like Scott did as well. I think Phoenix do win this basketball game tonight, but I'm not ready to be laying 4.5 points with them. So give me the over in the game, and let's go with Asia Wilson over 24.5 points scored.
All right. Last one is me. They just kicked off UTEP and Liberty. I'm going to go under, same kind of thinking that Gabe had in this game. If you look at Liberty's scores, they don't score a whole lot. They don't give up too much. 4 of the 5 games this year has gone under this 47.5 total. UTEP stinks. I know. I went there for a year, so I follow them just a little bit anyway. They're both awful. Kind of the same premise I used last week when we had a college football game like this. 2 bad teams, offensively inept. I don't think it gets to 48 points, given the under 47.5.
I'm on the under of this football game as well, and I took the UTEP Miners in this game, which is not something that is a very profitable venture to do, and not something that I do very often. Maybe in basketball every now and then, right? But last pick, and we'll have more picks for the Dodger game. The Dodger game starting in a little less than an hour right now. But as far as Yamamoto, this is crazy. The Dodgers, Scott, in every one of their playoff games, their starting pitchers have had 9 or more strikeouts. Wow. That's pretty wild, huh? Ohtani
9.
had 9. That's the barometer. So it's almost like Yamamoto's letting them down. Like if he doesn't have 9 again, right, in the playoffs. So Yamamoto, for the record, had 9 against the Cincinnati Reds. He routinely put up like 10 and stuff. There was a couple of 7s. It's 7.5 at plus money, Scott, but I'm expecting a dominant performance from Yamamoto. And I also think he's going to go over 17.5, but we got to go 6 innings, right? So it's 17.5 for the outs, but we have time to get to that after. Blue Jays in business right now. Runner on second base, nobody out, top of the 4th in a 1-1 baseball game.
Yeah, this is the one I'm a little surprised the Yankees haven't put more than 1 run on the board, right? The Blue Jays bullpen, middle of the pack regular season, if you go by ERA, it's 16th. Worst, though, in baseball in the postseason.
I took Varland, the starting pitcher for the Jays, over 1.5 strikeouts, plus 120. He got 2.
Wow. And what about an inning of work? Like, he didn't last much more than an inning, right? Inning in the third.
He went like a inning in the third type, 2/3, whatever, inning in the third. He got into the second, and they took him out, but he strikes out a lot of guys in his limited innings, Scott. So I was like, he can do this.
Nice job. Right, In-Game Live just underway here on the Grid.
Enter into the magical world of McLuck.com, where even the smallest of spins can win real cash prizes. Adventure into over 1,000 of the best Vegas-style slot games. So what are you waiting for? Unlock your free welcome offer today. Join the fun where winners play and players win.
At this event, people from Amazon and Alexa made it very clear that in addition to Sports Highlight coming up, you will be able to perhaps buy sports tickets to events, buy movie tickets, arrange fantasy football teams, and I think somewhere down the road, maybe not too far down the road, given the NBA on Prime deal, they will allow sports betting on the television set through Alexa Plus.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
What worries me, for the future, for the rest of this season for the 49ers is Christian McCaffrey, because all these other guys are out. This guy is getting more workload than anybody else in the NFL. The catches, the carries, the blocking, the chip blocks, the protection. He is just being worked over, and I don't think that is, real good for the 49ers.
In-Game Live, only on SportsGrid.
We're getting a lot of optimism here, which I don't know about. This isn't a 21-year-old football player, a devastating knee injury that basically blew, the kneecap and also multiple ligaments. And I was like, surgery, awesome, be back for next year. He might be back for next year, but the Tyreek Hill we're used to, Joe, electric on the field where nobody can catch him. People are going to be catching him now, Joe.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
60,000 drunk New Yorkers who were there from 5 in the morning to 7 p.m., who dropped a house mortgage on a ticket to watch the United States team miss every putt that they can possibly miss, and you think someone's not going to get pissed off and curse people out? Wah! The golf fan wasn't civil. Wah!
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
Welcome back in Game Live, Game Day here on the Grid. Scott and Gabe just getting underway. Like I said, we got baseball, we got basketball, we got hockey, we got college football. We got the coach coming up in about 15, 20 minutes. So Tigers beat the Mariners earlier today, 9-3, so they stay alive, and that's a series of tying it out 2 games apiece. So we got at least one Game 5 game in the American League and National League playoffs. A little surprised with that. It's funny. I thought I had Seattle in the series. I went against the grain, and I hate doing this, and I did it yesterday, and I bet Detroit. I thought they would win yesterday, and then I don't bet Detroit today, and they win today. So we have a best of 5
That
coming
series
down with Scooble on the hill tomorrow or in 2 days.
Has completely flipped right now with Scooble on the hill. Suddenly Detroit believe that they can win this series. If you're Seattle with all the past postseason failure, it has to start to, you know what I mean? It has to be in the back of your mind as well, how quickly this is falling apart. And let's not forget, guys, they had the bases loaded with nobody out, right? So they really could have broken the game open early. They were up 1-0. They had the bases loaded, nobody out. They ended up scoring 1 run only, right? It's 2-0. That was kind of the difference. And then finally the Tigers offense started to break through. And as we speak right now, this Cubs game is still going on. This game feels like it's been going on forever, but still going on. They're nursing a 4-3 lead right now. I'm on the Cubs looking to hang on in this game. We got the Dodger game coming up, NHL hockey. Albeit, though, I will say with NHL hockey, because it is almost overwhelming right now. Like, I always look forward to this time of the year, and then these games are hitting me fast and furious today, and I'm putting in bets at the last second. I'm like, oh, my God, this is starting. That is starting. But it is kind of a lighter night in hockey tonight. You got 4 games going on right now. Montreal Canadiens and the Toronto Maple Leafs tied at 1 after the first period of play. And the Boston Bruins and the Washington Capitals. And I can't help but think of our boy Captain Chuck, George Kurtz, right now. Scott, he's no doubt at home wondering why the Capitals are winning 5-0 already against the Boston Bruins. We got a scoreless hockey game.
Yeah, you look at hockey. Hockey's not for the faint of heart. It really isn't. It's a great in-game line sport to bet, but, from starting from scratch, it's not easy. Yesterday and today, right, you had the Rangers minus 225 favorites. You had Toronto minus 170. Washington almost 2-1, minus 194. Edmonton is minus 230. Vegas 2-1 favorites. I mean, we're talking about opening night for all these teams, except for the Kings, who are actually playing back-to-back nights for some dopey reason. And we're already laying 2-1. So it's not for the faint of heart, NHL. You got to really kind of figure out, pick your poison, hope that the team that's favored, falls behind 1-0, doesn't get it back down to even. But hockey it's a weird sport from that standpoint.
I'll say one thing with hockey: it's not the best sport to bet on if you're a casual. It's very baseball-like. Yeah. It's very baseball-like in that there's a lot of players in baseball. They play every day. You've got to know the bullpens, and, there's a lot of moving parts, right? Like, football is once a week, Scott. That's why it's so popular with bettors and Main Street people, right? It's once a week. You sit down, you look at the point spreads. Baseball, if you bet baseball every day, it takes you like 10 hours a day to go through all the games. Hockey is the same thing. Like, the line changes, Scott. I mean, who the hell? You think the casual guy knows who the third liner is on the Nashville Predators from Finland? Right, like, so there's a lot of there's a lot of stuff that casuals, like, people were surprised. Oh, who's Seelovs last night? Had a shutout. Well, Seelovs played in the playoffs a couple of years ago, guys. Seelovs won the AHL championship last year, right? So you really got to be, like, you got to know, like, to bet hockey. It's hard to be a casual bettor with hockey. And I say that because favorites don't, win. It's not a favorite sport, like, per se, right? Underdogs can win International Hockey League. And speaking of which, I'm on the Montreal Canadiens tonight. I wanted to take them, Scott, plus 1.5. Right, we had success with that last night. We were on the Penguins plus the 1.5 against the Rangers. We won. We were on the Blackhawks plus 1.5. You and I, we all liked the Avalanche last night. So the Avs get it done last night. That was the one favorite that we played. So tonight I wanted to play the Canadiens at plus 1.5, but it was like minus 180, minus 185 by the time they dropped the puck. You can't do that because of the empty netter, guys. I'm not a massive fan of the plus 1.5, Scott, in hockey because of the empty netter. I prefer to do a 2.5 and just rack up a couple other teams in a parlay. But so I said, all right, screw it. I'll take the Canadiens. I think they have a shot of winning the game. I'm getting plus 150 with them. And I did an alt-line parlay where I took the Canadiens plus 2.5 goals and the LA Dodgers to win at minus 109. So, I it's looking pretty good right now. I'm hoping to know a little bit more by the time the first pitch comes up. But I could have the Dodgers at minus 109 in my back pocket by the time of first pitch.
That's not bad. Yeah, look at the difference, right? I mean, delaying the goal and a half or accepting the goal and a half in this case, actually, is like, case in point, Edmonton is minus 230 on the money line. So they should, right? According to the boys in Vegas anyway, they should win. So grabbing Calgary plus 1.5 goals, even though Edmonton is a minus 230 favorite, even if you took Calgary plus 1.5, you're laying minus 134. I mean, for that big of an underdog, for you to have to lay odds, Gabe, if you're going to lose, you're going to lose by at least one, right? So you're still laying odds with a goal and a half as that big of a dog.
Yeah, that's why I don't like doing it. And the empty netter is a real danger, guys.
Oh, yeah.
Right? It didn't happen last night in the Panther game, whatever. Chicago couldn't get the puck out of their zone. It was like one of those perfect storms for people that had the under last night that didn't want the goalie to come out. Like, Chicago wanted to pull the goalie for the last 2 minutes, and they literally couldn't get the puck out of their own zone. So they couldn't, the puck kept on bouncing around, and the goalie kept leaving and coming back. But the empty net, I hate it, especially in the playoffs, man. You get 1.5 in the playoffs, it's useless, Scott. You might as well have 2.5. The 1.5 is like that. 1.5 in, points in a football game or something feels like comfort, Scott. You know what I mean? 1.5 in a hockey game. There's no security in that.
Nothing.
You know what I mean?
You know what it should be?
You could be losing, 2.5, there's security. Yeah, we're safe if they score an empty netter. Yeah. If we lose by 3, we deserve to lose the bet. But plus 1.5 is a dangerous way to live in hockey, let me tell you.
Even Pittsburgh last night, Gabe, got 2 empty netters. So no matter what, you could have sometimes even 2.5. Imagine having 2.5 with the Rangers, and you lose to 3-0 because the team scored 2 empty netters.
In-game bettors got killed. You guys were talking about last night. Oh, you're going to take the Rangers now, right? And Pittsburgh ended up pulling away. The Rangers didn't even score. Who would have imagined that? Yeah. Welcome to but Scott, every game went under last night.
Yeah, 3-0 under.
Football contest season is back, and so is the Las Vegas Football Contest Show, Season 2, the sharpest football contest show in the land. Focusing on all 3 Circus Sports contests and the Westgate Superbook Super Contest, we handicap the games and release our contest picks every week of the season. Featuring Super Contest champions Brady Cannon, James Salinas, and former NFL player Mike Pritchard, all team will have you prepared this season like none other. Check us out every weekend right here on SportsGrid.
The course setup, Bethpage, and how soft the greens were, how long it played, it definitely was an advantage for Europe from my mind, and they putted better.
Well, but do you think, in a weird way, that same setup is what allows the Americans to get back in it today? Because you do see a lot of those big putts made.
Yeah.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
Getting a lot of optimism here, which I don't know about. This isn't a 21-year-old football player, a devastating knee injury that basically blew, the kneecap and also multiple ligaments. And I was like, surgery, awesome, be back for next year. He might be back for next year, but the Tyreek Hill we're used to, Joe, electric on the field where nobody can catch him. People are going to be catching him now, Joe.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Florida State put up 498 rushing yards on this defense, 8 rushing touchdowns, and they almost averaged 10 yards per carry.
Tough scene.
I mean, you got to be kidding me. It should be 60-7.
Yeah. Give me the 7.
I just gave you the 7.
Exactly. And
are you
the
on this?
Point. I'm thinking field goal and maybe a safety.
But are you on
Joe.
this? This is
Over
your best
3.5.
Okay.
Didn't you read the screen?
I
What are you not paying attention to the show?
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
All right, welcome back in Game Live, Game Day here on the grid. Scott and Gabe, hour number one. We got the coach coming up in about 5 minutes. We'll do a little WNBA with him. But in the meantime, just finished up in Chicago. Cubs stay alive. They beat the Brewers 4-3. Rare, and I mean extremely rare bad outing by Quinn Priester. He couldn't get out of legitimately the first inning. Not just like, all right, there are two righties and he's a lefty,
I bet against
he's a
him,
lefty,
Scott.
two righties. Did you?
Yeah,
I didn't bet. I did bet. I bet Milwaukee. I got them in a series, and then Priester's 19-1.
Why? Because you couldn't help yourself. You couldn't help yourself with the record and the streak and all that.
Yeah.
You know, he lost though the last game of the year. It was over.
He did.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it wasn't like he was on some dominant run. He got a lot of run support. He won. He was okay. But strange that the game stayed under, right? There were so many runners on base and stuff. Crazy that it ended up like that, 4-3 still.
That's true. They had 5 runs. You talk about a bad beat. Again, another example, like if you search, I know, listen, no one likes bad beats, and we all think it's all on us, right? But there are bad beats all over the place, people. There really are. 5 runs, Gabe, in the first inning. Over on
My life has been one bad beat, Wetzel. That's a bad beat.
Right.
What are you talking about?
I mean, it has.
It's like the Vince Scully line when he said, he's listed as day-to-day, but aren't we all?
Yeah. Great line. So you had over 7.5. You got 5 runs in the first inning. I mean, you're counting your money. You're kicking yourself. Oh, man, I love the bet. I should have doubled down. And in the end, they get 1 more stinking run or 2 more runs the rest of the way. It's 4-3. The game goes under.
Wild. Like we've seen this in baseball. We've seen it a couple of times, actually, in the playoffs in baseball. Happened the other day in the game. I'm having a hard time keeping up with all the games. We have a goal in the NHL game. The Montreal Canadiens have taken a 2-1 lead on the Toronto Maple Leafs. I want to see who scored here. I'm trying to keep my eye on everything. I'm flicking around. I got multiple screens going here, but there's so much at once. I just thought about that. We're at the time of the year now where I need more screens in front of me, Scott.
Yeah.
I got to be getting. I think I'm going to put another TV on the wall. I got to get another TV up here. So just for the record, goal score. Kapanen scored the first goal for the Montreal Canadiens, and Bolduc scored the second one. So, in typical fashion, Scott, the type of players that nobody had, like, I don't even think Bolduc had props listed. He was with the, others. You know what I mean? It's one of those type of deals. It's always that way. We'll see, as the game goes on, but, none of the star players, Kirby Doc's got an assist, but Nick Suzuki's got nothing. Demidov's got nothing. Caulfield's got nothing. And as far as the Toronto Maple Leafs are concerned, how about this guy? You want to talk about game 1 and crazy odds? Austin Matthews to score a goal tonight was plus 105.
Oh, my gosh.
Dude, it's the first game of the year. Come on. You're giving me even. No.
You tell me he's going to get
that's got to be plus 150. That's got to be plus 175, plus 150. Who's going to bet that? You got to be I saw that. I'm not going to call anyone an idiot for betting it because I'm sure some of our viewers did. But, guys, from a mathematical standpoint, does he score a goal in 75 games a year? No. What kind of odds is that? What are you, insane? Not to mention, Scott, he lost his setup man and Mitch Marner. Mitch Marner has set up Austin Matthews for 300 of his career goals, man. In the first game of the year, crazy odds right there. Let's see what McDavid is. I checked earlier. It's also a stupid number.
Yeah. I think I looked at that. I think he was 180, I want to say.
No, McDavid. No, he's more, I'm going to say it's plus 115 type thing.
Let's see.
Plus 105. Leon Draisaitl. Minus 110.
Minus.
You got to lay money for a player to score a goal in the NHL. Unless it's Wayne Gretzky and we go back in a time machine and we're in 1988 again, and everybody in NHL scores 72 goals a year like they did in those days, then I ain't doing that. I just can't do it. And I'm not afraid to bet chalk. It's sort of like betting a Derrick Henry touchdown, Scott, at minus 300 or something. It's you just can't do it. You can't do it.
You know what I was trying to do today? I was trying to put in an assist parlay on the Calgary game. I forget who I used, but I used 2 guys, Gabe, that were minus 250. If you use a general minus 250 bet and a minus 250 bet, you parlay them, it'll come down to even money, maybe even plus 105. This was still minus 160. I'm like, are you kidding me? I got 2 guys to get an assist, and I'm still laying $1.60.
That's asking for a lot. It's not easy to get an assist.
Yeah.
It's not. we've got it's a good discussion to have. Sometimes, even as bettors and as fans, you have to assess the risk-reward factor, right? Like how easy is it to actually, like betting one assist? Like, guys, there's only 3 or 4 goals in a game. So what, you're going to say that, oh, yeah, I'm going to assist on all the goals, half the goals in a game?
Right. Good stuff. Coach, coming up, a little WNBA talk when we come back. NBA as well.
Football contest season is back, and so is the Las Vegas Football Contest Show. Season 2, the sharpest football contest show in the land. Focusing on all 3 Circa Sports contests and the Westgate Superbook Super Contest, we handicap the games and release our contest picks every week of the season. Featuring Super Contest champions Brady Cannon, James Salinas, and former NFL player Mike Pritchard, all team will have you prepared this season like none other. Check us out every weekend right here on SportsGrid.
The course setup, Bethpage, and how soft the greens were, how long it played, it definitely was an advantage for Europe from my mind, and they putted better.
Well, but do you think, in a weird way, that same setup is what allows the Americans to get back in it today? Because you do see a lot of those big putts made.
Yeah.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
We're getting a lot of optimism here, which I don't know about. This isn't a 21-year-old football player, a devastating knee injury that basically blew, the kneecap and also multiple ligaments. And I was like, surgery, awesome, be back for next year. He might be back for next year, but the Tyreek Hill we're used to, Joe, electric on the field where nobody can catch him. People are going to be catching him now, Joe.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Florida State put up 498 rushing yards on this defense, 8 rushing touchdowns, and they almost averaged 10 yards per carry.
Tough scene.
I mean, you got to be kidding me. It should be 60 to 7.
Yeah. Give me the 7.
I just gave you the 7.
Exactly. And
are you
the
on
extra
this?
point. I'm thinking field goal and maybe a
but
safety,
are you on
Joe.
this? This is
Over
your best
3.5.
Okay.
Didn't you read the screen?
I
What are you not
could
paying
barely
attention
read
to the
it.
show?
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
All right, welcome back in Game Live. Game Day here on the grid. Couple of updates. Toronto scores as they still bat top of the, fifth inning? Fifth inning. Toronto 2-1 now over the Stanks. They got a runner on first base. Toronto scored. I was going to say, the Maple Leafs plus 1.5 or plus 150 was a pretty good bet when Montreal took the lead, but they tied it 2-2. So we'll keep you posted on that. And then WNBA, we've completed the first quarter, despite FanDuel always say, I don't know why, but they always say after the first quarter it's halftime. They've been doing this for a year now. Fix it, fellas.
It's a track.
26. Yeah, 26-23. Yeah, the over-run is up to 173.5. And I did like listen, it wouldn't surprise me if Phoenix won, but like you, Gabe, I was not in any position to lay 4.5 with Phoenix. These games are all down to the wire. That was too big of a number. So let's bring in the coach and see what he has on his plate. Mr. James Young joining us now here on the grid. What's going on, Coach? How are you tonight? Las Vegas or Phoenix? Who are you playing today?
I took the Phoenix Mercury team total over 83.5. Here's why. If you look at it, guys, 27 points in game number 2 in the first quarter, and then they went south. South through Sably, 1 of 8 from the floor in the first half. She was terrible. Alyssa Thomas had 10 points, had 3 fouls in the first half, 4 fouls early in the second quarter. They already got 23 points in the first quarter after a little bit of a stretch where a 17-0 run by the Las Vegas Aces. South through Sably, looking really good, guys.
Man,
13
she's on
points
fire
to start the
right
game.
now.
She is on fire right now. So 29
to start the game.
Yeah,
how
she
about
looks
Asia,
good.
though, guys? I played Asia, Coach, over. I played 2 picks in this game. I played the over 163.5, and I played Asia Wilson over 24.5. And Asia Wilson, 10 points in the first quarter. I expected her to bring it tonight. So we've got a track meet early going on here. What about the game? Because I sort of want to jump in on Phoenix at some point in game here. I see they're down by 4 right now. What do you think about the winner of this game? To me, guys, and Scott and his coach, but I'll throw it to you on the coaches. Earlier in the series, when it was game 1, Alyssa Thomas misses those 2 free throws. As good as she is, man, right, Scott? Like, as good as she is all freaking year. Girl, like, you've already lost in the finals before. This is our chance. We can steal game 1. Hit these 2 free throws. Bricks them both, Scott and Coach. That was a big early turning point in this series. Then they get run out of the gym on Sunday over the weekend here. How do you think this plays out tonight? This is a must-win game for the Phoenix Mercury tonight.
Yeah, I'm like you, Gabe. And Scotty, I could not lay 4.5. I didn't lay 3.5 earlier today. I took the team total 83.5. I think because they have to score. I don't think they could stop Vegas. Now, do I think they find a way to win this game? I could see them winning game 3 and then losing game 4 at home, being down 3-1 with it going back to Vegas. Remember, 2-2, 1-1-1 is the way they do it in the WNBA. But for Phoenix, they have to play close. And what they also need is they need to get better play off the bench out of DeWanna Bonner and Sammy Whitcomb, 2 veteran players that have won championships that have not been good. DeWanna Bonner, 5 points, had a big 3 at the end of the first quarter, 29-26. We got ourselves the ball game, and guys, we got ourselves a lot of points.
Yeah, I played the under on a little hunch. Game was on the over. Give him credit. And it looks like my under 163 is dead because it's already up to 175.5. Just because, Coach, my philosophy was that I followed this over the years that if a team is down 2-0 and both games went under or over, as both went over, they just kind of changed things up a little bit, realizing whatever they were doing in the first 2 games obviously wasn't working. So let's slow the ball down rather than speed and have a running gun affair. But obviously that's not the case. So this is a good day for props. Where else are you going to go props wise?
Yeah, I actually looked at Alyssa Thomas to go over 14.5 points. She's gone over it in 7 and 9 games during the postseason. I figured she was going to have to be aggressive. 10 points in game number 2 wasn't going to cut it. And Scotty, just really quick before I go to my other stuff, I really looked at the 27 points in the first quarter and the fact that Satu and Alyssa were not good offensively. I figured I don't think they can't slow the game down because I think there's too dynamic offensively in Vegas. They just got to shoot the ball better, which is what they've done. They
got to hit their threes.
They got to hit their threes. They were terrible.
They got to hit their threes.
They're terrible.
Which normally they did, right? Normally they do, right? They have in the playoffs. They're going back and forth for real right now. I can't resist, guys. I'm going to jump in on the Phoenix Mercury money line here.
I think they find a way to steal it. I think they find a way to steal it. I just think
it's minus 130. It's minus 130 right now. They're down by 4 too, so the book still kind of believing it. But what about chasing some more overs in this game, guys? Because they're not stopping. Like Vegas keeps scoring. They keep scoring. The team totals, guys, 86.5 and 89.5 now. Vegas is 86.5. Phoenix is 89.5.
Yeah,
Vegas just hit a 3 too.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I also looked at Chelsea Gray to go over 6.5 assists, 10+ assists. The games 1 and games 2. I just think there's going to be pace and space to this game. And that's where I kind of leaned. It's just those 3. I thought personally, Scotty, you talk about adjustments. I thought that the coaching staff of Phoenix were not going to play one-on-one with Asia, and they may send a double team to force the ball out, let someone else beat them. The problem is Chelsea, Jewel Lord came in the game and banged 4 threes, bang, 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 bang in the first quarter.
Man, her prop was light tonight, too. I was going to play her, Coach. Her prop was light. And she's been heating up now.
She's been heating up. She's kind of finding it coming off the bench. And that's kind of the way this team has rolled since she came off the bench. But 36-29, good timeout. I mean, Alyssa Thomas, 9 points. I'm comfortable with her going over 14.5. Sadly, she's probably going to get to 20. To me, I'm looking at, can I get Chelsea Gray to get over 6.5 assists? And I really think you got to look at maybe Asia Wilson assist props live, because if I'm Phoenix, I cannot go down with this girl getting 30 points. I got to make someone else beat me, even though Julius hit their first 4. Missed her last 2, though.
Wow. The over-under is now 178.5. I will say this. It's on a pace for over, but game number 1, close game like this one figures to be, 37 points in the fourth quarter. That's not awful, but you need 40-40-40 to get the 160. So this is 37 is well under. And then last game, close game, 32 points in the fourth quarter. So there's going to be a high watermark somewhere where it's like it's not going to continue. I think there's going to be, whether it's fourth quarter, third quarter, whatever it may be, that the things are going to come back to the pack a little bit here. But all right, so Coach, who's going to be the WNBA commissioner next year?
It should be James Young, because I've been trying to tell this league what to do for a long time. Listen, simply put, if Adam Silver is now getting involved in negotiations, that tells you how bad it is. If the NBA commissioner's got to step in and try and help, which I think he's going to have to, Kathy Engelbert needs to be fired. They need to fix this league. They need to fix the travel. They need to stop putting Caitlin Clark on every game on national TV in case she gets hurt. And they need to pay these players. Add a zero to their check. I want $3 million a year for the top player. They're giving the players 8 to 9% of the revenue. That is absolutely wild.
That's worse than the UFC, who gets called out. And the UFC is kind of like gives about 18 to 20% of the overall revenue out. Right? That's
But do they make any money, though? Is the WNBA, though, making money? Because everything I see is no.
They can't turn around
They
and
didn't
talk
in the
about
past,
ratings.
but now they will in the future. Yeah, now
Yes.
they are now. Exactly. They're cashing in.
They have
Put it this way, Scott.
And Paige Beckers.
Look at this. So look at no doubt the WNBA was losing money for years. If it's losing so much money right now, how come a group wants to pay $330 million and put a team in Boston? Because it's losing money? Right. So all these owners, remember like the girl in Georgia coach that they didn't like, the politician girl. Oh, I don't even make money on the team. Yeah, you weren't, Scott, they were flying Southwest, coach, bro. They weren't like losing that ton of money. They weren't making money, right? But they weren't losing a ton, and now the teams are worth hundreds of millions of dollars.
Yeah, I think
it's like the biggest grift ever.
Unrivaled is their biggest problem. That's their biggest issue now.
How about Wembanyama going to 7-5?
True. Oh, jeez. Coach, good job, man. We'll do it again soon.
Football contest season is back, and so is the Las Vegas Football Contest Show. Season 2, the sharpest football contest show in the land. Focusing on all three Circus Sports contests and the Westgate Superbook Super Contest, we handicap the games and release our contest picks every week of the season. Featuring Super Contest champions Brady Cannon, James Salinas, and former NFL player Mike Pritchard, all team will have you prepared this season like none other. Check us out every weekend right here on SportsGrid.
The course setup, Bethpage, and how soft the greens were, how long it played, it definitely was an advantage for Europe from my mind, and they putted better.
Well, but do you think, in a weird way, that same setup is what allows the Americans to get back in it today? Because you do see a lot of those big putts made.
Yeah.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
We're getting a lot of optimism here, which I don't know about. This isn't a 21-year-old football player, a devastating knee injury that basically blew, the kneecap and also multiple ligaments. And I was like, surgery, awesome, be back for next year. He might be back for next year, but the Tyreek Hill we're used to, Joe, electric on the field where nobody can catch him. People are going to be catching him now, Joe.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Florida State put up 498 rushing yards on this defense, 8 rushing touchdowns, and they almost averaged 10 yards per carry.
Tough scene.
I mean, you got to be kidding me. It should be 60 to 7.
Yeah. Give me the 7.
I just gave you the 7.
Exactly. And
are you
the
on
extra
this?
Point. I'm thinking field goal and maybe a
but
safety.
But are you on
Joe.
this? This is
Over
your best
3.5.
Okay.
Didn't you read the screen?
I
What are you not paying attention to the show?
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
All right, welcome back in Game Live. Game Day here on the grid. Scott and Gabe, hour number one. Thanks to the coach, J.Y. James Young, joining us as he will from time to time. So back to the hockey board real quick. I need some goals here in this Boston game. Toronto-Montreal 2-2. Boston and Washington still scoreless. I made two bets. Well, actually, I made more than that, but two bets pertaining to this thing. I bet Gabe FanDuel offered up, will every team score one goal? I laid 2-1. You know, you
What,
bet
in the NHL tonight?
Shut out. Yeah, the NHL. Only 4 games. I knew Boston-Washington was going to be the one that was like, so far no score. And
there was a shutout last night. There was only 3 games. There's only 3 games. There was one shutout last night.
It does happen. So then I bet will each team score 2 goals at plus 4-1. So I need some goals tonight, somewhere along the line.
So we talked about that earlier. So 3 games last night. 3 games last night, two so far tonight. The Leaf Canadian game, the total ended up closing at 6. So I guess it depending on your book and stuff, but it was 6 depending on the juice. So that's kind of a toss-up. So we might have our first over of the year in this one, Scott. It feels like, look, the in-game total is 7.5 right now. The Bruin game's going under. Let's call it out for what it is. It's scoreless right now with 12 minutes left in the second period. So that'll be 4-1 to the under on the season to start. Very similar to the start of the NHL preseason. Remember, I was talking about that. It went on that like 30-12 run to start, and then it opened up after about 3 or 4 games in of the NHL preseason. You got the Flames and the Oilers tonight, which a lot of people are going to bet the over this game, Scott. I actually like the under this game, personally. I think it's going to be, I don't think we get to 7 here. Calgary Flames are not an offensive team. They don't have any firepower. Huberdeau is hurt right now to begin with. So one of their best offensive players is hurt to start the season. He's not playing. The Oilers are an offensive team, but they don't want to be. You know what I mean? They try to, they're known for offensive firepower and stuff, but their coach wants them to play good defense. They don't want to play 5-4 games every night because that's what gets them in trouble, that they don't play good enough defense. So it's the first game of the year. Calgary's going to be all locked in. Battle of Alberta. They're big rivals, Scott. They really don't like each other for real. Their fan bases don't like each other for real, even though they're dead identical people. I don't understand. You know what I mean?
It's there's no
they're both from the same place, Scott.
Right?
They're both from Alberta. All right, you both vote the same. You both drink the same beer. You're all, but it's one of those whatever. No, you wear red, we wear blue type of deals. So they don't like each other, and then you got the Kings, like you said earlier. The Kings played last night, coming off a 4-1 loss, going into Vegas tonight. You got a total of 6 in that one.
That's why would they have Vegas? I actually like betting on teams that played the night before in the beginning of the season. I think it gives the Kings a mental edge, just a little juice, especially since they lost. Who was to fall 0-2? Just to getting all the nuances of we're back playing real hockey. I think they give the Kings a mental edge. Calgary 19-6 under versus Pacific Division teams. So to your point of they don't obviously Calgary doesn't want to.
They want to lock. They don't have the skill. They don't have the skill to match you. They want to play a 2-1 game, right? They want to keep it as low scoring as possible for as long as possible. I'll throw some picks out. We got until 10 o'clock for that game. I don't know if I just put $75 by accident on a Mookie Betts home run prop. I didn't mean to do it. It pays $431 if it hits. So I'm
okay.
If I cancel it, I'm like, he's going to hit a home run.
Did you think it was a hit or you just?
No, I sort of have. I'm lining them up because the game is coming up right now. I do like Mookie Betts to hit a home run tonight, but I don't know how the 75 got hit. I just sort of looked. I'm like, I just bet this. So, all right, that's there. But I'm sort of putting those picks in. So yeah, you know what it is, Scott? You have to wonder too. Why for the NHL? Number one, why would you start the season on a Tuesday at 5 o'clock at the same time as the Major League Baseball playoffs? But I'll digress on that one. But if you're the NHL, why is it that on night 2 you have teams playing on back-to-back nights?
Makes no sense.
So tomorrow the Boston Bruins play. The Bruins play again tomorrow. The Bruins play at home tomorrow. They host the Chicago Blackhawks. The Montreal Canadiens, Scott, are on the road 2 nights in a row to start the year. What the hell is that? You're playing in Toronto now. Now you got them playing in Detroit tomorrow night.
I don't understand why
Flames.
They would pick.
Here's another one, Scott. The Calgary Flames, and they're going to be into this game tonight. They don't like the Oilers. You know what I mean? It's like real type stuff. And then they play the Vancouver Canucks tomorrow night, who is their season opener, home opener, haven't played yet. There's a lot of the Vegas play tomorrow night in San Jose. Like, it's almost everybody. It's wild.
Yeah. And they picked 3 games, right? For me, I would start off everybody. Opening night, we all play. Let's make this a whole big party, right? Instead, they picked 3 games. Okay. But the 3 games are you're defending champs, Florida, so we're interested in that against Chicago.
Yeah, against the worst team in the league.
Yeah, who cares?
Scott,
Pittsburgh versus the Rangers, who cares?
That's like the Philadelphia Eagles opening up Thursday Night Football against the Cleveland Browns.
Tennessee Titans, the Cleveland Browns, exactly.
It's like why are we doing this? Why are you doing this? I mean,
it's dope. I tell you, it's so frustrating.
Should have been the Tampa Bay
years.
Lightning. They got into a brawl in a preseason game last week. Like, they could have saved that for the opening night. Imagine that, opening night NHL. They get into a big fight. You would have gotten headlines everywhere, publicity about it. You could have put the Edmonton Oilers on, Stanley Cup rematch, but they don't like teams from Canada. Okay,
Vegas,
fine. Then put Vegas
right?
in. Put the Dallas Stars in. Put the Tampa Bay Lightning in. There's a million teams you could have put in besides the Blackhawks. The Pittsburgh Penguins, they have Sidney Crosby, Scott. They're terrible. They won the game, fine, but nobody cares about the Penguins. The Rangers aren't good, so you put them on TV for a New York market, so good for you. And then L.A., Colorado was kind of a flat matchup last night. So that doesn't grab, like, the national attention. You know what I'm saying? Oh, the Kings versus the Avs. Right? I don't hate that matchup, but I agree with you. It's a very flat opening night. Let's call it out for what it is.
Yeah. So and they did it again today, and then tomorrow they got all the
3 games today. You're right. It's very stunted.
And then, Gabe, here's the other thing, right? Like, what is the one thing that we all want to do, right? If you're a league, whether you're WNBA, whether you're baseball, the one thing you just don't want to do is go up against the NFL. So what does hockey do? Instead of having Tuesday, no NFL,
they're full slate Thursday.
It's Thursday against the NFL.
Let's go against the NFL.
You can't make this stuff up. You just, it's like. Amazing.
Hey, Gary Bettman gives that Kathy girl the WNBA a run. They should date each other.
Yeah.
Football contest season is back, and so is the Las Vegas Football Contest Show. Season 2, the sharpest football contest show in the land. Focusing on all 3 Circus Sports contests and the Westgate Superbook Super Contest, we handicap the games and release our contest picks every week of the season. Featuring Super Contest champions Brady Cannon, James Salinas, and former NFL player Mike Pritchard, all team will have you prepared this season like none other. Check us out every weekend right here on SportsGrid.
The course setup, Beth Page, and how soft the greens were, how long it played, it definitely was an advantage for Europe from my mind, and they putted better.
Well, but do you think, in a weird way, that same setup is what allows the Americans to get back in it today? Because you do see a lot of those big putts made.
Yeah.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
We're getting a lot of optimism here, which I don't know about. This isn't a 21-year-old football player, a devastating knee injury that basically blew, the kneecap and also multiple ligaments. And I was like, surgery, awesome, be back for next year. He might be back for next year, but the Tyreek Hill we're used to, Joe, electric on the field where nobody can catch him. People are going to be catching him now, Joe.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Florida State put up 498 rushing yards on this defense, 8 rushing touchdowns, and they almost averaged 10 yards per carry.
Tough scene.
I mean, you got to be kidding me. It should be 60 to 7.
Yeah. Give me the 7.
I just gave you the 7.
Exactly. And
are you
the
on
extra
this?
point. I'm thinking field goal and maybe a
but
safety,
are you on
Joe.
this? This is
Over
your best
3.5.
Okay.
Didn't you read the screen?
I
What are you not
could
paying
barely
attention
read
to the show?
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
All right, welcome back in Game Live. Game Day here on the grid. Wrapping up hour number one here for a full hour, so don't go anywhere. We got the Blue Jays 2-1 over the Yankees. We have Dodgers and Phillies starting here a little bit just to recap the Toronto game. So it is Toronto 2-1, and really the story, the bullpen. A bullpen by committee game, which was, you would have thought, a recipe for disaster. Blue Jays, middle of the pack in the regular season, the worst bullpen ERA-wise in the postseason, ERA close to 9, and yet they've had 4 guys, and they've allowed 1 run. That was a home run for the number 9 hitter, McMahon, the guy they picked up from Colorado. Otherwise, 1 hit, and that's Judge the rest of the way. So they did a great job. They're probably going to have to go, Gabe, but at least 5, probably 7 deep if they're in the 6th now, and they got 4 pitchers. So you got to figure there's going to be at least 2 more.
Who they have?
So they're going to go 6, 7 deep. Well, they could bring in Gausman or Yusevich.
Gausman warmed up before the game today, but that was more, they said, of a daily thing. Schneider said earlier in the day that Gausman could be available potentially, but only if, well, he sort of was like in a crazy situation. I guess technically he could be available, but Savage is available. He is. Now, he's only on 3 days rest, right? And they've been very cautious with this kid all year long. But so he's on 3 days rest. But at this point, I wouldn't worry about that stuff. I'd cross that bridge. His arm won't fall off if he pitches a couple innings. Let's be real. But, don't overthink it. The bullpen's getting it done right now. They're doing a good job. But you got to feel eventually it's like playing blackjack. They're going to get a bad hand and someone's going to smoke one. Aaron Judge is coming up, and they walk Aaron Judge. They don't play around. So 1 out, they put Aaron Judge on first base. So prop players don't like that on Aaron Judge, but it is what it is. Scott, what do you got for the Dodger game? Let's get our picks.
Yeah. By the way, see, they walked Judge last night with nobody on and 1 out in the what was it, the 8th inning. I couldn't believe that. So I'm gonna go Phillies. Yeah, I don't want to bet on them to win because, like I said, I got the Dodgers all around the board. So why would I do that? But I just don't think they're gonna roll over tonight. I think they're gonna get 4 runs. Let's go over 3.5 runs, Philadelphia. I'm going to use Aaron Nola to go 3 innings. It's 8.5. He's a veteran pitcher. I get it. Quick hook in elimination games. We've seen it all throughout the postseason, all the time. But he's a veteran. He's not a second-year player. I'm not sure what we're going to get out of him. He's got to get the benefit of the doubt. So runners on first and second, and we got a left-handed batter up. He's going to stay in the game, him being a righty, versus maybe a youngster that will yank him. 3 innings is not a whole lot. So give me the Phillies plus the over 3.5 runs, and then Aaron Nola over 8.5 outs. I like that one a lot.
I'm loading up here. I think the Dodgers go in for the kill shot tonight. If you saw, look, the Chicago Cubs extended the series. They went back home. The Yankees extended the series. They did it going back home. This is a unique situation. The Dodgers are the ones going back home now. And, they're a pretty good home team, by the way. And Yamamoto, by the way, is a pretty damn good pitcher who's dialed in, locked in. He's a great big game pitcher. Don't like the juice with the Dodgers, but I think the Dodgers are going to win. I put it this way. I think the Dodgers are going to, kill them or they'll lose the game outright. So I don't mind laying the 1.5 with the Dodgers. I'm laying the 1.5 with the Dodgers as well. Let's go Yamamoto over 7.5 strikeouts. Mookie Betts over 1.5 total bases is plus 100. You can never go wrong with that. Mookie Betts to hit a home run at plus 475. Enrique Hernandez over 0.5 total bases, minus 160. You can play that over, half a hit as well. It's basically the same bet at the same odds. And usually I add on a bunch of other crazy Dodger bets because I am a Dodger fan. But I really haven't tonight. That's pretty much my card right there. Except besides we left out Yamamoto over 17.5 outs. So he's got to go 6 innings for me to win this bet. But I think he will tonight.
All right. How about here's a goofy one on FanDuel. Any 2 of Ohtani, Hernandez, Schwarber, Bryce Harper to each hit at least 1 home run plus 210. So
not
it sounds
good enough
like
odds, but you're getting a lot of guys.
One guy hit. Yeah, if one guy
so you
hit
need 2 of them?
that would be a loser. Yeah, you need 2.
Two of these. How many guys are you getting?
4. Schwarber, Harper, Ohtani, and Teoscar Hernandez.
Yeah, that's actually not
plus
bad. Actually. Look, you consider Aaron Judge was plus 225 to hit a home run himself tonight. I don't actually hate that, Scott. You're getting some pretty good players there. Like, what's Ohtani to hit a home run now? Like, I looked at it earlier. Like, it's not even that high. Like, so what's Ohtani going to get this?
172. 172.
Yeah, I don't think this is a bad deal where you're getting those 4 players. I don't hate that at all.
Yeah.
I would play it, actually, if I had option to it.
Yeah, I like that. I'll do that. Let's have some fun tonight.
Football contest season is back, and so is the Las Vegas Football Contest Show. Season 2, the sharpest football contest show in the land. Focusing on all 3 Circus Sports contests and the Westgate Superbook Super Contest, we handicap the games and release our contest picks every week of the season. Featuring Super Contest champions Brady Cannon, James Salinas, and former NFL player Mike Pritchard, all team will have you prepared this season like none other. Check us out every weekend right here on SportsGrid.
The course setup, Bethpage, and how soft the greens were, how long it played, it definitely was an advantage for Europe from my mind, and they putted better.
Well, but do you think, in a weird way, that same setup is what allows the Americans to get back in it today? Because you do see a lot of those big putts made.
Yeah.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
We're getting a lot of optimism here, which I don't know about. This isn't a 21-year-old football player, a devastating knee injury that basically blew, the kneecap and also multiple ligaments. And I was like, surgery, awesome, be back for next year. He might be back for next year, but the Tyreek Hill we're used to, Joe, electric on the field where nobody can catch him. People are going to be catching him now, Joe.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Florida State put up 498 rushing yards on this defense, 8 rushing touchdowns, and they almost averaged 10 yards per carry.
Tough scene.
I mean, you got to be kidding me. It should be 60 to 7.
Yeah. Give me the 7.
I just gave you the 7.
Exactly. And
are you
the
on
extra
this?
point. I'm thinking field goal and maybe a
but
safety.
Are you on
Joe.
this? This is
Over
your best
3.5.
Okay.
Didn't you read the screen?
I
What are you not
could
paying
barely
attention
read
to the show?
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
All right, welcome back. It is In-Game Live Game Day here on the grid. Starting hour number 2, Scott and Gabe until 10 p.m. Eastern Time. Full slate, including some baseball. Yankees threatening 2 on and nobody out. Pitcher, reliever number 5 for the Toronto Blue Jays. 2 outs? Oh, I'm showing no outs. All right, 2 outs. All right, so still 2 runners on first and second. Yankees trailing 2-1, getting plus 122. Over-under is 5.5. I still think we're going to get some runs. So let's talk a little baseball with our good buddy Rob Donaldson, UnderdogFantasy.com, UnderdogFantasy.com. What's going on, Rob? How are you tonight?
Hey, man, I'm doing well. I hit the Cubs in the first 5 money line. I hit the Tigers in the full game money line to start the day in Major League Baseball. And yeah, just kind of lingering now on this last Phillies bet that I got going.
All right.
No action on the Yankees? Blue Jays? No action on this game?
Yeah, I stayed off this game. The bullpen aspect from the Blue Jays was kind of the ultimate wild card side of things where, yeah, the Yankees were this overwhelming favorite, but I didn't feel like either price made sense for what you kind of could expect in that game, and so I completely stayed off the Yankees and
Jays
Toronto
get out
here.
of it. Josh Chisholm grounds out. Jay Rodriguez gets them out of it. We're going to the 7th inning in a 2-1. Like you said, hey, Rob, and who are the thoughts, Scott? Hell, I don't like betting overs. I bet the over this Yankee game today. I'm like, there's got to be runs. Because the Blue Jays hit Schlittler last time. So I wasn't like overly I was like, they'll be in a bad mood. I expect them to sort of, they started off hot, then they cooled off their bats. But nobody could have predicted this, Rob, from the Blue Jays bullpen. Like you said, it put you off the game. Who the hell would have expected this to be a 2-1 game and the Blue Jays bullpen to be doing this all day?
Yeah, and when you do run out a bullpen game, you're playing the matchups, right? Where every single pitcher that you put in the game is coordinated based on where you're at in the lineup. And so it's not like they're just doing it based on the situation because a starter got, in a pinch with 2 runners on, nobody out. Like, they know when a guy's going in the game and when he's not. And from that side of things, what kind of ends up being the overwhelming angle? Is the Blue Jays bullpen just bad and no matter who they throw out there, they're going to give up runs, or does playing the matchups actually serve as a benefit to like an under category? That's where I kind of didn't want to, have a hand in this game here.
It's such a dangerous game, though, Scott, when you're rolling out new guys all the time. Yeah, it's hard for the other team because you got fresh pitchers, but you pitch 6 pitchers, Scott, chances are one of them will suck. Not everybody's going to be on their A game. You know what I mean? It's like... it's like playing blackjack over and over. Hit me. Hit me. It's like, eventually it's like, damn. Like,
I got a bust sooner or later. And when you have to face 3 batters, it's not like, okay, I could, put you out there for 1 batter, 2 batter. You got to face 3. So 8.78 ERA. Chisholm grounds out weekly to second base. So they're going to be booing him. So the 7th they go. All right, so we'll keep you posted on that one. You got action Philadelphia. Sounds like you like the Phillies tonight, Rob.
Yeah, when you're looking at how the Phillies have done against the righties coming out of the pen or on the bump to start the game against the Dodgers in this series, whether it was Glasnow, whether it was Ohtani, whether it was, the back end of Blake Trinan and Emmett Sheehan that we just saw in the last game where the Phillies actually were mustering up offense. When they have been able to go against righties for longer stretches, they've been putting up runs, they've been mustering offense, but when it's Vesia, when it's Snell, it kind of feels like this offense is dead in the water. And so going up against Yamamoto, obviously Yamamoto is incredible, but I think it actually ends up kind of serving the Phillies as a benefit because Bryce Harper really hasn't been getting, involved like crazy. Brandon Marsh, who was really on a scorcher, has kind of cooled down so far. And Kyle Schwarber, he's one of those guys that you throw a righty up against him, one can lift off the bat at any point in time. And so I think from the offensive side of the plate, when you're talking about the Phillies, that's where I really liked them in this game. And I ended up taking that +1 on the run line there.
Not on the money line. You like them, but not. But you don't want to go over roll over to the complete dark side, don't you?
That's absolutely the case because I've seen Teoscar Hernandez just take a dump on the whole party, right? When a 3-run bomb in that first game. And if that ends up being the case, it doesn't matter if it's Teoscar or Max Muncy or Shohei Ohtani. There's a number of guys who can go lift off.
Yeah, by the way, Rob and Scott, they got Will Smith back in the starting lineup now. Right?
They've
been missing Will Smith throughout the playoffs. He came in as a pinch hitter the other night in like the 7th or whatever, and he caught the rest of the game. That was just a little bit, one last sort of, all right, he's back now.
You're ready.
He's starting, Scott. He's a big-time bat, bro. Nobody's ever going to feel sorry for the Dodgers, right? When they're missing someone, oh, poor Dodgers, right? But anyone that follows baseball, Rob, Will Smith, man, this guy's lethal. Like, now the Dodgers add Will Smith's bat back to the lineup.
I personally think he's the best catcher in baseball when you talk about what he brings to the plate because great defensively, just a clutch hitter, obviously 2 outs when he came in that pinch hit at bat, ropes one to left center field, brings in 2 runs. That's the kind of dynamic that you get when you insert Will Smith into your lineup.
Not a bad +190 RBI guy. He's going to be batting obviously behind all the big boys, and they figure to get on base a little bit.
I'll tell you what, Scott, I know the Dodgers well. He's the king, bro, of the deep sacrifice fly to center field.
Fly, right?
Yeah. Like he only really tries to hit home runs. Oh, no, he crushes it. Yeah, there's deep to center field. Yeah. Oh, and it's caught, but it scores a run. That's Will Smith, I'm telling you. Like, we could look it up. I'm sure it's happened 45 times this year.
Yeah, I'll put it in. Will Smith +190.
I almost have to play it now.
Yeah, you have to. Let's play devil's advocate, Rob. Say the Phillies win tonight. Will they send the series back to Philadelphia?
I feel like, yes, the offense is always there to kind of make it an interesting series, but I wouldn't be banking on it, right? I think if I had to place another kind of angle in this next game out, depending on kind of what we hear in terms of how the pitchers are going to be rotated out there or what's getting fed in, maybe you take a sneaky under after an offensive output tonight, but I think ultimately it probably does end next time out for the Dodgers, just because they're going to be rolling out presumably a pretty fresh bullpen. Again, we'll kind of see how this back end of the game plays out, but we're probably seeing Glasnow tonight, probably not seeing Roki Sasaki, and we're going to end up probably not seeing Alex Vesia, even in that kind of ultimate pinch. And if those guys are available next time out, all of a sudden the Dodgers have some weapons coming out of that pen.
Won't matter. Dodgers are going to roll them tonight. I'm telling you, Dodgers roll.
7-2.
They won't need Sasaki.
As long as the Philadelphia gets 4 runs, that's all. They can roll only one.
I will say, damn, these Phillies jerseys and uniforms are sweet, though. So many baseball teams, like they don't wear their best jerseys in the playoffs. Like San Diego, they're god awful. That brown pinstripe.
That's
like
marketing.
Guys, it's like guys, you have so many cool jerseys. You have so many cool jerseys. Like wear a cool one. This is the old school, basically like Phillies look I grew up on. So now that they didn't use, that's pretty much the jersey, right? That's a badass look that they've got. I'm almost scared as a Dodger fan now with the uniform magic that they busted out. I'm like, damn, pretty nice uniform.
Cubs extend
it's like
the
Tampa
series
and Seattle,
against...
the NFL game this week. That was awesome, the uniform. The
Yeah.
creamsicles and the old school Seattle, man. I was thinking, Scott, bring them all back. Bring all the old uniforms back. Let's go.
That would be cool. I love that Tampa Bay old uniform. So, Cubs extend the series against Milwaukee. It's now pick'em. We got the Tigers and Mariners going to a deciding 5th game. Rob, hold on the line. We'll get your thoughts on those two when we come back. I'm a little surprised Milwaukee, especially they stuck Priester with a 1-0 lead. That thing fell apart early for the Milwaukee Brewers. So still leading at 2-1. But do the Cubs extend the series? And then we'll figure out from Rob who he likes, Detroit and Seattle, when we come back. In-game live, game day here on the Grid.
Enter into the magical world of McLuck.com, where even the smallest of spins can win real cash prizes. Adventure into over 1,000 of the best Vegas-style slot games. So what are you waiting for? Unlock your free welcome offer today. Join the fun where winners play and players win.
At this event, people from Amazon and Alexa made it very clear that in addition to Sports Highlight coming up, you will be able to perhaps buy sports tickets to events, buy movie tickets, arrange fantasy football teams, and I think somewhere down the road, maybe not too far down the road, given the NBA on Prime deal, they will allow sports betting on the television set through Alexa Plus.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
What worries me, for the future, for the rest of this season for the 49ers is Christian McCaffrey, because all these other guys are out. This guy is getting more workload than anybody else in the NFL. The catches, the carries, the blocking, the chip blocks, the protection. He is just being worked over, and I don't think that is, real good for the 49ers.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
We're getting a lot of optimism here, which I don't know about. This isn't a 21-year-old football player, a devastating knee injury that basically blew, the kneecap and also multiple ligaments. And I was like, surgery, awesome, be back for next year. He might be back for next year, but the Tyreek Hill we're used to, Joe, electric on the field where nobody can catch him. People are going to be catching him now, Joe.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
60,000 drunk New Yorkers who were there from 5 in the morning to 7 p.m., who dropped a house mortgage on a ticket to watch the United States team miss every putt that they can possibly miss, and you think someone's not going to get pissed off and curse people out? Wah! The golf fan wasn't civil. Wah!
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
welcome back in Game Live. Game Day here on the grid. So I don't know if it was 3 up, 3 down, but the Phillies did not score at the top of the first inning. They had to run. I'm assuming a double play there as I was flipping through the channels. So bottom of the first, they go no hits in the first inning.
No, they walked.
Of the first, they go. Yeah,
they walked Harper. They walked Harper, and then they just smoked one to center field, really deep to the track. But it was caught, so Yamamoto gets out of it. And I bet you there's a massive number jump now too with the Dodgers. Like after that, just one inning. What do they go to here now? Wow,
minus 240.
They were minus 190 right at first pitch.
Yeah,
right first pitch. I looked. I'm like, oh, minus 190. So, wow, half an inning. That big of a swing.
Yeah, Blue Jays down. They have 2 runners on. The Blue Jays are minus 3-1 now. Up 2-1. Top of the 7th
first and third, one out.
First and third, one out. Yeah.
First and third, one out. And George Springer is up right now. So it's the top of the order right now. This is it. This is the game, guys.
This is it.
Right? This is it.
So
like if you're the Blue Jays, you don't score. You don't score, then you got a problem after, right? You left the door open for them, like the Seattle did today with Detroit. If you're the Blue Jays, you're up 2-1, first and third. You got to score at least 1 run and get a little bit of insurance here.
If they score, make it, let's say 3-1, sack fly, whatever the case may be, Rob. Do you bring in Gausman to close it out?
Got to go take it because you can't take these games for granted because, to Gabe's point, the Tigers were on the ropes early against the Mariners, and all of a sudden they kind of left the door open for them with that pen that, it needed a little bit of rest, but I don't think the approach was to save the bullpen for the next series. It was just to put the Tigers away and then kind of go from there. And if you have a 1-run lead and it's getting into that 7th, 8th, 9th, type of territory, I think 100% you got to put your best foot forward, and that would be Kevin Gausman, in my opinion.
Yeah, because then you always have a savage if they ends up screwing up, right? I mean,
saving pitchers is like saving teams for NFL Survivor. It doesn't help you if you're eliminated. I was saving the Lions for Thanksgiving. I was saving the Bills. Like I was saving this and it doesn't help you. I'm with you, Rob. Cross the bridge when you get there, man. Right? I'd be like, who can pitch right now? Like I don't care about this. How many days and pitch count this? I'd go to each guy. Are you available for me today? Do you mean it? Or is your arm? Can you do it? Yeah. Okay. Right. And worry about the game 1 of the next series when you cross that bridge, man. Right? Because these series can flip. Look how interrupt, like you said. Look how quickly that series flipped today. Hell, I was about to tweet today, man. The Detroit Tiger fans are by far the quietest out of all these playoff series. Their fans were beaten down. They hadn't had a lead since 3 weeks ago. You talk about not winning. They brought it up. This is the first time they've had a lead in 39 innings or something like.
It's been over a month since they won a game.
They're almost surprised. The fans were like, "Oh, we're winning." And then it was like,
"We're still alive."
And it was like, "Oh, the series is tied 2-2, and we have Scooble." And if you're Seattle, Rob, dude, Seattle have a bad postseason history of choking. Like I'd be panicked if I was a Mariner fan right now.
And I think, again, it's just kind of one of those, strategies that I just will never agree with in terms of saving your pitchers because, right now when you're looking at the Blue Jays in this game, you have this 1-run lead and it's 2-1. Like right now you have 3 innings to win. That's all it comes down to. And who knows, what happens at the start of the next game. Maybe your starting pitcher takes the bump and all of a sudden he walks into a home run or a walk in a home run and you're down 2-0. And all of a sudden, that's a pivotal game for the entire series. That's the season ender.
Springer strikes
potentially
out.
If you're the Blue Jays. Right.
And so,
100%. If you're clinging to a 1-run lead after getting out of this inning, you got to go ahead and try to win it because what are we doing here if you're not?
Wow, the Blue Jays. They got second and third. They just stole the second base. It was open, so they took it. But there's 2 out. Lucas is up now. Oh, and he comes through. This guy's been coming through with singles all year long in these spots. Wow. The Blue Jays cash in and take a 4-1 lead. Wow. The unheralded Lucas, who had the best line. He's out there in the outfield, right, with all these nut jobs at Yankee Stadium. And they said to him, what's it like out there? He goes, man, these people are ruthless. And he goes, so how did you prepare for it? He goes, I shut my Instagram down before the series so they couldn't learn any stuff about me. And
Not bad.
this is really funny, guys. Yeah, smart. Hey, he's on top of it. And you know what he goes, Scott? He goes, I shut my Instagram and all my social media down so they don't know pictures of my girlfriend or anything. Like, he's like, they don't know anything about me, really. And he goes, I also bring out a bag of baseballs, and I give them baseballs before the game. And they're nicer with
win
me.
them over. Win them over.
Yeah.
Win
He
them
said, I
over.
give them baseballs, and they back off a bit. Even Yankee fan could be bribed with a baseball.
Wow. And you know, just
right now.
Yeah, he's good before the game. He just says, hey, guys, out there to bleach, you know what I mean, in the bleachers. Hey, what's up, guys? How you doing? Yeah. And he goes, I have fun with them talking smack, but I give them baseballs, and it chills them out.
There you go. You know who the pitcher was? Now, he's done a little better the second half of the season, or not second half of the season, but lately anyway. But that was
Devin Williams. Yeah, of course it is. A poor kid.
Oh,
poor guy.
my goodness.
Like
That's it.
I can just imagine cue the Aaron Boone Williams passing right now.
Yeah,
echoing around the island right now. Just echoing. Son of
How
a
could
bitch.
you bring him in? He sucks. He's this. He's
Totoro's
that,
doing
you
a
know?
video already as we speak. I'm gonna panic. I'm gonna have a heart attack.
Yeah, my boy Nicky.
And I will say,
wow.
I will say it's come full circle because obviously Devin Williams is the guy that got rid of the beard facial hair policy, and everybody was like, "Oh, well, this is the end of Yankee culture." And now Devin Williams might have just put the death nail into their season. So, yeah, I think it's come really full circle in one season.
He's going to need a beard to walk the streets of New York after this. I tell you what.
I was going to say, he might not be able to walk from the mound to the dugout without getting hit with a bunch of beer cans.
You better shave that beard, Scott, to fit in after. Don't take the subway home, Devin, after the game tonight. Yeah.
He'll be the only guy need the police escort to get back to the dugout from the mound. Wow.
And, you know, Boone's just getting killed. How do you have him in the game now? Oh.
Yeah. Rob Donaldson, great job, Rob. UnderdogFantasy.com for all his plays and picks.
Football contest season is back, and so is the Las Vegas Football Contest Show. Season 2, the sharpest football contest show in the land. Focusing on all three Circa Sports contests and the Westgate Superbook Super Contest, we handicap the games and release our contest picks every week of the season. Featuring Super Contest champions Brady Cannon, James Salinas, and former NFL player Mike Pritchard, all team will have you prepared this season like none other. Check us out every weekend right here on SportsGrid.
The course setup, Bethpage, and how soft the greens were, how long it played, it definitely was an advantage for Europe from my mind, and they putted better.
Well, but do you think, in a weird way, that same setup is what allows the Americans to get back in it today? Because you do see a lot of those big putts made.
Yeah.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
We're getting a lot of optimism here, which I don't know about. This isn't a 21-year-old football player, a devastating knee injury that basically blew, the kneecap and also multiple ligaments. And I was like, surgery, awesome, be back for next year. He might be back for next year, but the Tyreek Hill we're used to, Joe, electric on the field where nobody can catch him. People are going to be catching him now, Joe.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Florida State put up 498 rushing yards on this defense, 8 rushing touchdowns, and they almost averaged 10 yards per carry.
Tough scene.
I mean, you got to be kidding me. It should be 60.
Yeah. Give me the 7.
I just gave you the 7.
Exactly. And
are you
the
on
extra
this?
Point. I'm thinking field goal and maybe a
but
safety.
But are you on
Joe.
this? This is
Over
your best
3.5.
Okay.
Didn't you read the screen? What are you
I
not paying
barely
attention
read
to the show?
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
welcome back in Game Live, Game Day here on the Grid. So I can't believe they're doing this. I really the guy, they bring the guy in, the poor guy can't win for losing,
Sorry,
right?
Scott. I'm just laughing. We got Mark Zeno coming up later of all times.
I know. Oh my goodness. And that's going to be you. You're not going to miss that in 5 minutes.
He might cancel the hit.
They're keeping him in the game.
He might cancel the hit.
Yeah, he might.
He might say, I can't do it. I'm going to say something I can't take back. You know what I mean? He's going to say. So they're leaving. I'm looking at the Dodgers now. So they didn't even take him out of the game. They're leaving him in?
No, to face a lefty. To face a lefty, no less. With runners on first and second, you're already down 4-1.
Hey,
He's
listen,
faced
I never
three batters
defended
already.
Boone. All I've said is, hey, it's not all Boone's fault, but I think Boone right now almost wants to get fired. I think he's almost at the point, like, it's like, I'm done. Like, if I leave him in here, I'm going to get fired. Like,
You got the entire bullpen. Nobody has pitched yet
the
today.
most flammable guy on your team, you leave in the game with the season on the line. It was inevitable.
Yeah. They really will. I mean, I don't say this too often. I feel bad, for Yankee fans. I really do. But
But
that's
it
why I
doesn't
said Red
erase
Sox
them
fans.
not scoring anything with the bases loaded and nobody out in game one. It doesn't change them not hitting the Blue Jays bullpen tonight.
Right.
They only have one run in this game.
Right, 2 hits. I think it's 2 hits only. So yeah, you're right about that. You're right about that. But when you look for something else besides the obvious, this is it.
Oh yeah, it's going to stand out. Yeah, like this going to be obviously discussed.
He can now get this guy out, but I don't understand the logic of he's a righty, and I hate that righty lefty stuff, but baseball lives by that stuff. And Yankee fans are always crying about all the analytics. So what analytics says that I should keep one of my struggling relievers in the game with runners on first and second to face a left-handed batter when the reliever is right-handed?
Let me tell you, Scott.
After he just gave up the base hit.
We have a Will Smith RBI opportunity right now. First and third, Will Smith at the plate. First inning. Nola's in trouble. He's already pitched. He's already at 20 pitches. He just hit Freddie Freeman. Mookie Betts is on third. Wow. And now we got Will Smith back. 2 out. Will Smith has a good eye, right? Like Will Smith's a catcher. He's good at working the count, so he's got a full count right now. He won't mind loading the bases. The Dodgers don't mind passing the baton to the next guy, right? That's what makes them good.
Yeah. By over 8.5 outs is not looking good in that game for Nola.
This one, this is exactly, dude. At this rate, 20, it's not looking good.
Yeah.
Well, if he gets out of it and he gets a couple of quick outs in a second, we'll see. But he's laboring. The term laboring is that's a strike. He struck out Will Smith.
Wow.
Gets out of the inning. Son of a. I played will there be a run in the first inning there, too.
Oh, yeah. Williams got out of the inning. I will say, I'll give him credit for that, but, the barn has already been left open there.
And the Maple Leafs just scored, literally and figuratively, hot off the presses. They just scored like a second ago. They're still celebrating as we speak. So they take a 3-2 lead with 10:58 left for total bettors. So we're up to 5 there.
I need a goal out of the Capitals here. After 2, Bruins 1-0. By every team scoring the goals, and I got to sweat this thing out. 1-0.
We talked about it, Scott. One of the keys of the Boston Bruins this year. Listen, nobody thinks they're going to make the playoffs, right? People have low expectations for the Bruins this year, but they do have a really good goalie, or he was briefly good. So that was the big thing for them, right? Could Swayman play like an elite goalie? Because if you have an elite goalie in the NHL, it can mask a lot of the deficiencies your team has. Look at Chicago last night, Scott. They got outshot like 39-19. Spencer Knight's a really good goalie. So, it was 3-2 only because you have a really good goalie. Hey, last year it would have been 6-2, right? So you have a really good goalie. It gives you a chance to actually, you got a puncher's chance. You got a puncher's chance subtly. So Swayman plays well. He can keep him in games. I think, too, with Ovechkin and the whole thing, Scott, the last couple of years, he was energized by the Wayne Gretzky chase to get the most goals ever. He did it. He's old now. He's Pat. You know what I mean? Like, and the team even admitted it last year when they lost in the playoffs. They said that we lost our buzz after he got the goal record. It was all about his goal record. And after that, like, it was like a letdown the rest of the season, like somehow. So I don't know. I think I don't think they were as good as they looked last year. That's where I'm going with this.
Yeah, maybe not. I kind of said the same thing about Crosby. It's like, what's the point? You both won cups, you won everything. Why bother anymore? So, In-Game Live continues here in the Grid.
Football contest season is back, and so is the Las Vegas Football Contest Show. Season 2, the sharpest football contest show in the land. Focusing on all 3 Circus Sports contests and the Westgate Superbook Super Contest, we handicap the games and release our contest picks every week of the season. Featuring Super Contest champions Brady Cannon, James Salinas, and former NFL player Mike Pritchard, all team will have you prepared this season like none other. Check us out every weekend right here on SportsGrid.
The course setup, Bethpage, and how soft the greens were, how long it played, it definitely was an advantage for Europe from my mind, and they putted better.
Well, but do you think, in a weird way, that same setup is what allows the Americans to get back in it today? Because you do see a lot of those big putts made.
Yeah.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
We're getting a lot of optimism here, which I don't know about. This isn't a 21-year-old football player, a devastating knee injury that basically blew, the kneecap and also multiple ligaments. And I was like, surgery, awesome, be back for next year. He might be back for next year, but the Tyreek Hill we're used to, Joe, electric on the field where nobody can catch him. People are going to be catching him now, Joe.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Florida State put up 498 rushing yards on this defense, 8 rushing touchdowns, and they almost averaged 10 yards per carry.
Tough scene.
I mean, you got to be kidding me. It should be 60 to 7.
Yeah. Give me the 7.
I just gave you the 7.
Exactly. And
are you
the
on
extra
this?
point. I'm thinking field goal and maybe a
But
safety.
are you on
Joe.
this? This is
Over
your best
3.5.
bet? Okay.
Didn't you read the screen?
I
What are you
can
not paying
barely
attention
read
to
it.
the show?
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
All right, welcome back in-game live. Game day here on the Grid. So no Mark Zinno, a resident Yankee fan.
Did I call it? Was I right? I said he's going to
yeah.
cancel? He's coming?
He's mentally preparing, I guess, at this point. Yanks down 4-1 thanks to Devin Williams. And
Get the profanity drop button. We don't have one. Be careful. Like he could be pretty heated right now.
Yeah.
I'm just fascinated by this because as somebody that's basically seen every Blue Jay game this year, it blew me away earlier in the year. I'm like, who the hell are these guys? Like, who's Addison Barger? Right? And they're like, there's Addison. I'm like, who the hell is Ernie Clement? Who is Miles Straw? Like, they have all these players, guys, that they're not blue chippers. Like, they're not like, they're the big prospects in their organization. Most of their guys, they have all these guys that are literally like 28 years old. They kind of kicked around the minors for a while. Took them a while to develop. Never got a chance, blah, blah, whatever. And like, they have like all these just sort of like really hungry players that aren't rich. And then you mix in the star players that they have. It's quite the chemistry. But the Blue Jays have a very high payroll. So this is one thing that people need to realize about the Blue Jays. They spent their salary this year, their payroll is $255 million. So they're not like the Blue Jays spend money. They kind of expect to win for the record. The Yankees are at 300 right now, I see. This is the updated after the trade deadline and all that type of stuff. But 4-1 baseball game right now.
All right, let's bring in our good buddy Mark Zinno, a resident Yankee fan, SportsGrid host. You see it here all the time. Mark, bottom of the 7th. Let's go back to the top of the seventh as Devin Williams comes in the game, with two runners on in scoring position. Your thoughts?
After what he did last night, there was no way in the world I would have went to him back-to-back nights if I was Aaron Boone. And, of course, if I was Aaron Boone, I would have been fired already because I would have quit because I'm bad at my job. But that's a whole different conversation. All that said, look, the volatility of Devin Williams has to be on display. And you have to know your people and your players as a manager. And I can't understand why Aaron Boone doesn't recognize that. We have watched Devin Williams be erratic and inconsistent all year long. You got all these arms in the bullpen. Why? I mean, Schlittler wasn't great, but he certainly wasn't bad. You go 6 into third and you only give up 2 runs. That's a winnable game for your team. That's a winnable game for your team. And, you can't let the bullpen blow this thing. Now, Toronto's bullpen isn't much better, but still, the point simply is that you have to play from in front here. And, oh, by the way, another thing we could talk about, maybe, just maybe, if Aaron Boone retains his job, next year he'll learn that you need to pitch around Vladimir Guerrero Jr. because you can't get him out. And the idea that you pitch around him in the first inning, to me,
he's a Yankee killer.
It's
unbelievable.
Explain.
Well, let me ask you, Mark. I brought this up earlier. Let me ask you, because I brought this up earlier, and it's obviously going to be a massive storyline. The Boone storyline is going to be a big one, and at some point, it's hard to go on just because of the tension with everybody and the fan base. I get that, but what about the Yankees not scoring in Game 1 with bases loaded and nobody out, right, in the 9th inning? They don't score. What about tonight getting shut down by a Blue Jays bullpen that was a real cause of concern for them? They're not hitting the baseball either, and that's not Boone's fault. So I'm not dismissing Boone's faults, but where's the hitting on this club right now?
If they don't hit home runs, they don't score. Everybody knows this. This is one of the more undisciplined, unprofessional lineups out there, with the exception of Aaron Judge. He's the only one who gets a pass here. And, oh, by the way, the guy's hitting over 500 in this series, or 400, whatever it is, some insane number.
Can't blame him. Yeah.
You can't blame him. But the point is, too, Gabe, is that it's not a very well-constructed team. I mean, Jazz Chisholm is a free swinger, right? So if you make a mistake like they did last night in the 5th inning, he'll punish you. But if you make your pitch, guess what? You're going to get him out 8 times to 10. And so this is a lineup full of basically sub-240 hitters who, if you make a mistake, will deposit the ball in the seats. The Yankees have creamed mediocre and bad pitching all year long. If you get good pitching and pitchers who make their pitches, then you get guys out. But again, I have to go back to this. Springer doubles to lead off the game. Next guy flies out. And with first base open, what is the reason not to put him on there? I mean, you just let anybody else in this lineup be. And this is the problem, Gabe. It's not like it is, we could take individual things. You say, hey, they're not hitting. That's not on Boone. You're right. But it is a systemic problem all year long that has gone on now for 100, and what are we calling this here? 168 games, right? The same mistakes are happening over and over again. The same base running, the same poor fielding, the same unprofessional at-bats across the board when, hey, we need base runners on, and we swing at the first pitch that's 6 inches out of the strike zone. The same things keep happening. And that, unfortunately, will fall back on the manager all the time because you haven't addressed the problems.
And it should.
Regular season.
It should fall back on Cashman, too, though. You replace them both, right? Because he's the one to put together and consistently. And I know everybody blames, right? Everybody blames the new Steinbrenners. Oh, if George was around. They spent $300 million. How much more do you want them to spend? Right? And it's where they spend it. They don't spend it on the right player, Scott.
That's the problem.
Right. And he can't stay healthy. Hey, you know what it reminds me of, Mark? It reminds me of, almost 10 years ago. And I still hear it from Yankee fans today about Big Papi, right? Who's the other guy? Vlad Guerrero now, but who killed the Yankees? Anybody, anything more than Big Papi with the Red Sox, right? Never. Nobody. He was the one. But they never hit him. They never threw inside to him. They never pitched around him. And he would hit clutch hit after clutch hit after clutch hit. And I'd hear Yankee fans yell and scream, why don't we hit this guy? We got to get this guy up to plate. And they just never did. And same thing. I will say this, the Barker dude, after Guerrero, has got 3 hits tonight. So, but I agree with you. I'm letting anybody beat me. I'm not letting Guerrero at this point, who's got 3 homers into 3 games.
Snyder walked Aaron Judge last night with first base.
We're talking about that. With 1 out, nobody on. Yeah.
Just
that
put
was
him
smart.
on. We're not going to let that guy beat us. Somebody else in that lineup is going to have to prove that they can beat us. And if Barker gets a hit, fine. We all live with it. But we can't sit here and watch a guy who was batting 700 in this OPS over 2,000, and you pitch to him with runners in scoring position. Why? It's maniacally bad managing, and you make the same mistake after game 1 of this series. You'll be like, not pitching to that guy. Then he deposits a grand slam in game 2. And even in the first inning of game 3.
How about this?
2-run bomb. Why?
Yeah.
I'll blow your mind on this, actually, just to put in context. It'll even, make it enhance your point. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is the first player in Major League Baseball history with 9 hits and 9 RBIs in the first 4 games of the postseason.
Wow.
So as you stated, Mark, this guy is doing something that's never been done in the history of the game before, and you pitch to him when you didn't have to. So I get your point.
If somebody
Yankees got 2 on. Yankees got 2 on with Christian batting.
Oh boy, here comes the Blue Jays bullpen.
Watch him swing at the first pitch. Watch him swing at the first pitch. What are the odds? Do we have live odds on swing at the first pitch? Because I would bet on that.
No, we don't. Now you got to bring in Gossman, right? Or Yusevich, one of the two, right?
We got a pop out foul.
Oh,
they got out of it. They got out of it.
Popped out.
He popped out in foul territory. Jimenez caught it in the stands type of deal.
Now, again, here's the problem. Who's the guy behind him? Aaron Judge. You do everything. You don't swing till there's 2 strikes because that's the guy hitting behind you with base loaded. That's the unprofessionalism of this lineup.
Yeah.
Yeah. As soon as I saw that line go to minus 1,200, I figured they made an out. So, all right, talk with Mark Zeno. Quick little break. We'll get his thoughts on Phillies and Dodgers and the other 2 series, and Yankees and Blue Jays.
Football contest season is back, and so is the Las Vegas Football Contest Show. Season 2, the sharpest football contest show in the land. Focusing on all 3 Circus Sports contests and the Westgate Superbook Super Contest, we handicap the games and release our contest picks every week of the season. Featuring Super Contest champions Brady Cannon, James Salinas, and former NFL player Mike Pritchard, all team will have you prepared this season like none other. Check us out every weekend right here on SportsGrid.
The course setup, Bethpage, and how soft the greens were, how long it played, it definitely was an advantage for Europe from my mind, and they putted better.
Well, but do you think, in a weird way, that same setup is what allows the Americans to get back in it today? Because you do see a lot of those big putts made.
Yeah.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
We're getting a lot of optimism here, which I don't know about. This isn't a 21-year-old football player, a devastating knee injury that basically blew, the kneecap and also multiple ligaments. And I was like, surgery, awesome, be back for next year. He might be back for next year, but the Tyreek Hill we're used to, Joe, electric on the field where nobody can catch him. People are going to be catching him now, Joe.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Florida State put up 498 rushing yards on this defense, 8 rushing touchdowns, and they almost averaged 10 yards per carry.
Tough scene.
I mean, you got to be kidding me. It should be 60 to 7.
Yeah. Give me the 7.
I just gave you the 7.
Exactly. And
are you
the extra
on this?
point. I'm thinking field goal and maybe a
but
safety.
But are you on
Joe.
this? This is your best bet? Okay.
Didn't you read the screen? What, are you not paying attention to the show?
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
All right, welcome back in Game Live, Game Day here on the grid. Scott and Gabe talk with Mark Zinn, a little baseball here. So we got the no score Phillies and Dodgers, keeping an eye on that top of the third inning. And then Toronto just got out of the inning with the bottom of the Yanks, is the bottom of the seventh. So it's still 4-1 moving to the
Leafs
top
just
of the
scored
eighth.
too, Scott. 4-2 Leafs. They scored an empty netter. Speaking of empty netters, they scored an empty netter, and Austin Matthews does score the goal after all. It was a terrible line at plus 105, but he scores the goal after all, an empty net goal.
How many times have we said that about whether it's Judge or Ohtani hitting a home run, like it's plus 150, something stupid? Like, how could you bet it? But, you know, then it comes through. Capitals come through. Ooh, 2-1. Now, forget about every team scoring one goal game. Now every team scoring 2 goals tonight, a plus 4-1 on FanDuel is very, very, very much alive. So
that's an interesting prop. Yeah, that's an interesting prop that they offer. I've said, what did I tell you 2 nights ago? What did I say 2 nights ago? I said FanDuel is very good for hockey bettors.
Yeah.
They have good lines. They have good props. They've got good odds boosts. Like, it's good for hockey bettors. It really is. Like, there's no other book offers that prop.
Yeah, I wouldn't think so. I don't know, you know. I'm going to do. That's why I want to let the season kind of, iron itself out for a couple weeks, but you have action on every single. It's like betting the Grand Salami. You got action on every single game. It's actually a pretty cool bet, So, Mark, I know the answer to this, but I'll ask you anyway. If the Yankees were to lose tonight, I'll give you 2 questions. I know the answer to one. One, do you want them to fire Boone/Cashman? And then 2, do you think they will?
I would want them to fire Boone and Cashman more than I would want my own child to become president of the United States. More than I would want my own child to be a Yankee. More than I would want my own children to exceed all of my wildest dreams for them. I would rather get back together with my ex-wife than have Boone and Cashman.
Wow, there you go. That's talking now.
So the answer is yes, I would want them to do it. Will they? No. Look, to name drop here, Buster Olney told me this, and he covered the Yankees throughout their dynasty in the early, late 90s, early 2000s when they were good and, had guts and heart and players who actually, played the game the right way. He said the Steinbrenner doctrine used to be either win the World Series or you stink. You suck. You're terrible. Those are the only 2 things that there were. It was win the World Series or complete failure. There's only one person in the Yankee organization who no longer subscribes to the Yankee doctrine. That's Hal Steinbrenner. He does not care. He literally does not care whether they win or lose. He is in charge of a $10 billion franchise that prints money in the back offices of Yankee Stadium. He does not care whether they win or lose. And until there is a mass departure of finances from them, a mass exodus of fans showing up, until there is some sort of critical mass moment for him to wake up and get out of his chair and actually start owning this team the way his father did, this is going to continue. And as you said, guys, it's not necessarily about spending money. It's about the fact that Cashman has lost a zip on his fastball, and they're not getting the right players. They're not constructed the right way, and Hal Steinbrenner will not hold him accountable for his job. Never in my lifetime did I ever think a Yankee manager and a Yankee GM had the most secure jobs in baseball, but here we are. They do.
Yeah. 5-1 Toronto. On top of that, nice little,
attaboy.
Maybe the over can get there after all. Maybe a couple of late runs, just keep chipping away in this game. What's the new total now? Total is 7.5 now, huh?
Minus 106. Yeah, you got 6 runs. Now if you're Toronto at 5-1, I mean, do you even screw around? I mean, I don't know what they do with the bullpen now.
You still got a lot of outs.
Guys,
Yankees have 2 at-bats still to come, so they got 6 outs to give still.
Then you got Judge leading off, too.
I can get you this over easy. Have Boone bring in Luke Weaver. Watch.
Or keep Devin.
Is this going to end up 9-1, Mark? You're telling me it's going to get blown open soon?
Very on top would be bringing in Luke Weaver right now.
Right. And, his excuse now with Devin Williams will be, well, my guy who, pitched the next inning gave up a run as well. So what do you want me to do? That's going to be his out. So, all right, how about the Phillies and Dodgers? Bottom of the third, no score. Dodgers laying 220 right now because they're at bat. What'd you like in this series or game?
I mean, I like the Phillies tonight just in an elimination spot. I don't know that the problem for the Phillies has been their offense is just dormant. Like 3 runs in each of the first 2 games is not what you expect. But the problem is that Nola is not like really trustworthy. Like I want to play the Phillies in an elimination spot, but Nola hasn't been great this year. And I would suspect the second
he's
time
out of the game already.
Oh,
believe it. Just
out.
come on. Yeah, just
and he only won 2 innings, Scott. So he doesn't get there. His prop was 8.5, Mark. Scott talked about it earlier.
He's
what's the
allowed
point,
one hit.
Scott? It's a
He's got
scoreless
3
game.
strikeouts.
Wouldn't you just be happy? You're like, all right, listen, like he's pitching well. Let's keep going. It'll save our pitchers for later.
I get it, but I would tell you that his second time through the order could be very bad for him, and it's been proven that way this year. When you talk about his second time through the order, his 18 home runs he's given up this year, 14 of them have come after the first time through the order. So they knew it was going to get bad. And when you talk about second time, how much the batting average for the opposing team shoots up the second time through the order, probably smart to get him out of there after 2 innings and try to just manufacture a way to keep this scoring down for the Dodgers, because the playoff Dodgers look like the regular season Dodgers that we thought we were going to see all year long.
And Philly fans are saying the same thing about Rob Thompson. Is like they're very upset about his decisions in this series, right?
His last 3 outings, Rangers Suarez, who's now in the game, 3 runs in 4 innings, 6 runs in 4 innings, 3 runs.
We got a run on the board. We got a home run on the board. Yeah, the big shot Bob Horry of the Dodgers. Tommy Edman hits a home run.
Wow.
There you go. There you go. You take a pitcher out who's throwing 1-hit baseball. He's got 3 strikeouts.
Tommy
and 2
Edman hit goes
innings.
deep.
He's a veteran pitcher, and you're going to bring in a guy who's been pitching awful over the last 2
I
weeks.
agree with you, Wetzel. I don't understand it either. I don't get it. This modern analytic crap. I totally understand going through the order again, but he wasn't even through the order yet. He still had a couple of guys. Like there was no need to take him out. Right? And he was, like you said, Scott, he had 3 strikeouts in 2 innings. He was obviously confident in his stuff.
Crazy. Well, good job, man. We'll do it again soon. Good luck to the Yankees the rest of the way. You never know.
Football contest season is back, and so is the Las Vegas Football Contest Show. Season 2, the sharpest football contest show in the land. Focusing on all 3 Circa Sports contests and the Westgate Superbook Super Contest, we handicap the games and release our contest picks every week of the season. Featuring Super Contest champions Brady Cannon, James Salinas, and former NFL player Mike Pritchard, all team will have you prepared this season like none other. Check us out every weekend right here on SportsGrid.
The course setup, Bethpage, and how soft the greens were, how long it played, it definitely was an advantage for Europe from my mind, and they putted better.
Well, but do you think, in a weird way, that same setup is what allows the Americans to get back in it today? Because you do see a lot of those big putts made.
Yeah.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
We're getting a lot of optimism here, which I don't know about. This isn't a 21-year-old football player, a devastating knee injury that basically blew, the kneecap and also multiple ligaments. And I was like, surgery, awesome, be back for next year. He might be back for next year, but the Tyreek Hill we're used to, Joe, electric on the field where nobody can catch him. People are going to be catching him now, Joe.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Florida State put up 498 rushing yards on this defense, 8 rushing touchdowns, and they almost averaged 10 yards per carry.
Tough scene.
I mean, you got to be kidding me. It should be 60-7.
Yeah. Give me the 7.
I just gave you the 7.
Exactly. And
are you
the
on
extra
this?
point. I'm thinking field goal and maybe a
but
safety.
But are you on
Joe.
this? This is
Over
your best
3.5.
Okay.
Didn't you read the screen? What, are you not paying attention to the show?
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
right, welcome back in Game Live, Game Day here on the Grid. So back to the baseball real quickly. We'll recap it all. But it is a frustrating. I really do, as we were talking about in the break game. I think that's why baseball is waning with people. You could be the hardest core. I love baseball my whole life. You went to Yankee Stadium, Red Sox Yankee doubleheader as a kid. Loved it, right? But it's just so frustrating. Forget about the bet. It's honestly not about the bet. It really isn't. It's just frustrating watching these managers just over manage and two guys, 2 or 3 innings, and you pull the guy out. It's like it's very tough. It really is just baseball's become a tough watch. It really has. So 1-0 Dodgers. They get the home run, and I'm glad they did because they bring in a reliever who struggled. But God forbid Nola should go more than 2 innings. I knew that was a possibility. But I thought Nolan would get the benefit of the doubt since he's a veteran pitcher. It's a 0-0 game, top of the third. He's got 3 strikeouts, and you're taking him out of the game.
The odds makers were clearly on top of that, right? They didn't believe that he would end up going through the order. Listen, I get the whole second time through the order stuff, but as you stated, he still had a couple of batters to go, and also he had struck out three hitters already, and he's not like some dude. He's Aaron Nola. Like, has he had a great year? No. But oftentimes, guys that don't have good years, you're like, damn, he's pitching well in the playoffs. You know how many guys that for the Blue Jays just pitched tonight that scared the hell out of fans this year for them? You know what I mean? Sometimes you just got to let it go and say, all right, hey, look, it's the old Aaron Nola right now tonight. All right, let's back off for another inning or two. But I bet you, Scott, like you said, and these freaking teams, they had their plan. I guarantee you. It was set in stone before. It was set in stone. Oh, yeah, get them out of there after this, after 6. You know what I mean? Get them out after 6, and that's it. No matter what, then we'll go to this guy. And I don't know why it doesn't come up ever really in these meetings. Well, what if he's pitching well and it's a shutout game and he's striking guys out? Why don't we are we going to keep him in for like the first 4 innings then? Because I'm more of a belief, Scott, I don't mind trusting him a second time through. Third time through is different, right? First time through, you're on adrenaline. Dude, you're on adrenaline too in a playoff game like this. It's not a regular season game. So he's all amped up. He's throwing his best stuff. He knows he doesn't have to worry about tomorrow. He can leave his arm out there, Scott. Big mistake taking him out of the game.
His last outing against Minnesota regular season, he threw 8 innings of 2-hit baseball. So he was pitching 9 strikeouts. So he was pitching great his last outing. I know he had a difficult
year. And what does this tell him, too? Like, if you're on the team, Scott, why do you want to be on this team next year? Like, you guys don't even believe in me. Like, you know what I mean? You took me out after 2 innings of a playoff game because you don't trust me.
I mean, no score, It's like I said, it's tough being a baseball fan. It really is. The Maple Leafs attack on an empty netter, Gabe. It hits the over. How about that? 5-2.
They tacked on.
There's
2 empty netters. They were relentless.
There you go. 2 again. We talked about that to open the show, right? It's crazy.
If you're the Montreal Canadiens, Scott, so you're losing the game 3-2. You pull the goalie with like 2 minutes left. Okay, you got scored on. There was 1 minute and 32 seconds left. It was 4-2, or it was like a minute left. It was 4-2. They left their goalie out. It's like, do you really think you're scoring 3 goals in 30 seconds now, guys? Like, I'm one of these, let's never quit. It's physically impossible to score that quickly almost. Like we're defying gravity. Like, you can't skate up and down the ice that quickly, like three that many times in a row. You know what I mean? Like, it's like scoring 3 touchdowns in 30 seconds of a football game or something. It's not happening. So, like, why do it, Scott? So, what, you want to lose? So, what, you had money on the over? Like, what's the point? You want to lose 5-2? All right. You want the Leafs to pad their stats? Go ahead.
Yeah.
Because they scored like 2 easy ones. Austin Matthews was grinning after. Yeah, good for you, Austin. You got a free goal.
Think about that. Now the big boy, Nylander and Matthews both scored. So 2 of the big boys, you cashed.
Yeah, they feasted on that empty net.
Both got empty netters. Yeah, right? It's almost like that shouldn't count. It's almost like once you score hogs. 1 empty netter, that's it. It's over, right? That's it. Game's over. You got the empty netter.
Gretzky used to pass the puck to other people when he goes, I score enough. I'll let someone else score. Austin Matthews, he sees an empty net, man, and I got to tell you, like, Yeah.
That's
Like
bold.
it's like an NBA player seeing a girl in a bar. Like they have their eyesight and like the empty net. I'm scoring. Like I'm putting the puck in the net. Give me the under. Give me the under in the Flames Oilers game, and give me Frederick to record an assist tonight. Frederick to record an assist.